Hey guys, it's Sam with Wrestling Overtime with your news and updates for May 19th, 2020. I wanted to let you guys know what has been going on. Fightful.com reports that their WWE sources say that Roman Reigns, quote, does not seem to be in any rush to return, and nobody here faults him for that, unquote. So WWE is okay with Roman Reigns taking time off, being with his twin little boys, but isn't okay with Sami Zayn taking off. It's really weird. Really weird. Fightful also reports that Roman isn't in any creative plans right now. They're not even discussing him. So I would say that since they're starting, or they should be starting their stories for SummerSlam, I would say that they're not planning on Roman coming back for SummerSlam. Then we get Dave Metzler from Wrestling Observer Radio saying that with Becky's announcement, they had to turn Asuka babyface because they had plans of Becky next facing Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler again. Instead, Asuka is going to take her place. So where Asuka was kind of a tweener, they went ahead and had to turn her babyface so that she could take the heels on. Now, on May 18th, why this didn't happen on SmackDown, I don't know. This stuff happening on Twitter or on WWE.com or on their YouTube is crazy because this stuff is gold. But on May 18th, the SmackDown mystery hacker tweeted out a new message. And what it was, he showed a video, and it had the Queen taking out the King in a chess game. So everybody on the internet was going crazy. Is Charlotte taking out Baron Corbin? Is Shayna Baszler going to attack Triple H? What's going on? And then, of course, when somebody ran the location coordinates that just happened to be in the Twitter profile, it was Kingston Avenue in Brooklyn. And this came from Cage Side Seats. So, what do you guys think about that? The Queen taking the King in a chess game. Well, we know the queens of wrestling are the Queen of Spades, Shayna Baszler, and the Queen from the Queen City, Charlotte Flair, who are the kings of WWE. Well, we obviously have the game, Triple H, the King of Kings, and we have King Corbin. So that's where they got that and what's leading them on that. But could Kingston Avenue play something? Maybe the Queen is taking Kingston Avenue in Brooklyn. I don't know. But like I said, this stuff is what drives interest in wrestling fans. They need to be doing this on the show. Like I said in a previous episode, SmackDown needs to be using this hacker to reveal information and really get people going. Well, let me tell you, the Brand to Brand Invitational did not work for ratings. Last night's Raw ended up drawing 1.75 million people. Now, I'm not going to say, oh, remember the days when it was 5 million. No. Because of all the streaming services out there, you're not going to be able to get 5 million people watching Raw on a Monday night. You're just not. Not anymore. But they should be averaging over 2 million, if not over 2.5 million. That should be easy for them to do, but I don't blame people. I don't want to watch it. It's a struggle. My alarm goes off and reminds me to turn on Raw, and I hear that and I'm like, oh, I don't want to do that. But I know that it has to be that way for everybody. When you're getting the Street Profits and the Viking Raiders in an axe throwing contest, you want to beat your own head against the wall. But this was down from last week. Of course, everyone tuned in last week because it was put out there, I don't know, about 15 minutes before Raw started, that Becky was making an announcement that everything had changed and she was making an announcement. She wasn't going to confront Asuka. So a lot more people tuned in, and it was 1.91 million people tuned in for that. So somewhere along the lines, they lost 200,000 people. Where did those 200,000 people go? Were they all Becky fans? Then our next piece of the news is Wrestling Observer Radio says that there may be something to the rumors of Sting to AEW. Now, of course, they've, been hinting someone is going to be revealing the belt at Double or Nothing. I don't know that it's going to be Sting. But I also believe that there's something to AEW wrestling. And I think Sting can give something to AEW. As far as his knowledge, his work ethic, him training up young AEW stars and stuff like that. I don't think that Sting has ever truly been welcomed in WWE. He has always been the outsider that stayed with WCW on the sinking boat. Whereas in AEW, he's going to be welcomed with open arms by Tully Blanchard and Arn Anderson and Jake the Snake Roberts and Dustin Rhodes and people like that. So I just think Sting is going to be more comfortable there. Then we get Dave Meltzer saying Charlotte isn't supposed to be a baby face or a heel. WWE just wants her to be a star. So does that mean WWE is doing away with baby faces and heels, or does that mean they don't know what Charlotte is? Because I believe that Charlotte truly knows what she is, and that's a heel. She plays that role so well with her cocky swagger that she's got going on and how she feels entitled, and she knows it, and she is way better than anyone else. And that makes her who she is. Does the crowd cheering for her, acting like herself, make her a babyface? No, not necessarily. And I think that's where WWE gets lost. A lot of times they think because they are cheering, meaning the fans are cheering a bad guy, that they need to turn him babyface. Well, no, you can keep him a bad guy. I think that's where WWE got confused about the Fiend. Everybody was so excited to get something new that they were cheering it. They wanted WWE to know, we want more of this. However, WWE took it as, we need to make him a babyface. No, you didn't. They cheer The Undertaker. It's just the fans letting you know that they want more of it. And WWE just gets teetotally confused about that. Then our final piece of news is the Dark Side of the Ring. Man, oh man, I loved the first season of Dark Side of the Ring. It really opened my eyes and told stories that I didn't know about. In season 1, some of them, Bruiser Brody, I didn't know stuff that happened like that. So they really opened my eyes. The second season has been even better. They actually took on subjects that I did know about. Maybe not know as much about. But, of course, I grew up on the Road Warriors. They were some of my favorites, when I was little. They showed Chris Benoit, and I talked about him in an earlier episode and what I thought of him, as far as I was a big fan of his. His was the first t-shirt that I ever bought that I begged my parents to buy me, because I really enjoyed his character and his wrestling ability, his athleticism. Owen Hart, I did not watch that pay-per-view. Wasn't really into the WWE at that time, and didn't want to fork out the money, and was, playing sports and everything, but obviously heard about it. And so there were some big stories in this second season. And so Viceland, I'm sure, is already told them that they can have a third season. Has to. Because their finale, the final days of Owen Hart, had 349,000 people watched it. Now, to compare that, Ruthless Aggression, which is usually on the WWE network, so a lot of WWE fans have never seen it. They showed 2 episodes on Fox Sports, and they could only get 214,000 people to watch it. And more people have Fox Sports 1 on their TVs than have Viceland. AEW Dark only gets 200,000 views on YouTube. But 349,000 watched that final episode of Dark Side of the Ring. Then they also released numbers, according to Cage Side Seats, that Dark Side of the Ring this season actually averaged 265,000 people with its 9-episode season. That's unbelievable. It shows that, number one, when you have a good product, people will watch it. But number two, it shows that on Viceland, even a small channel, that people want stories. They want to know about their wrestlers. They want to get involved. And that's the thing that's happening right now. WWE is not telling good stories, and so they're losing ratings. And it's absolutely breaking my heart that I have a young niece who is probably not going to go through that wrestling stage that you go through between 8 and 12 years old, because it may not even be around by the time she gets to be 8 years old, but if it is, it may not be cool. And I hate that. I hate the thoughts of that. So I don't know. I hope AEW can push more on WWE, and WWE will feel that and up their game. I hope Impact Wrestling, I had a fan that asked me to watch Impact Wrestling, and I've been impressed with their storylines. Now, their wrestling in the ring leaves a lot to be desired sometimes, because they're still learning their craft. But their storylines, they're on. So, I don't know. WWE better up its game. As always, you guys can reach me at wrestlingovertime@gmail.com, or you guys can hit me up on Twitter or on our Facebook page at Wrestling Overtime. Feel free to let me know your questions, comments, problems, and protests, and I will be talking to you guys soon because I have started working overtime for you.